Have you ever woken up in the morning, swung your legs out of bed, and thought to yourself, wow, I don't have the get up and go that I used to? Maybe you feel a little creakier when you stand up, or you find that by 2 in the afternoon, you're ready for a nap. It's easy to just chalk it up to age. We say, well, I'm not 40 anymore, what do I expect? But here's the wonderful secret that so many people don't realize: feeling tired, achy, or fragile isn't a mandatory part of getting older. In fact, the years after 65 can be some of the most vibrant, energetic, and fulfilling years of your entire life. Today, we're going to talk about exactly how to make that happen. I've gathered insights and advice that are not just internet rumors, but tips that doctors consistently recommend to their patients to help them not just live longer, but live better. We're going to walk through 6 specific, practical, and completely doable strategies that can help you thrive, not just survive, in this wonderful chapter of life. Let's start with the first tip, and it's something you do every single day, probably without even thinking about it: movement. But we're not talking about running marathons or lifting heavy weights at the gym. The doctor-approved tip here is to focus on what I like to call purposeful movement. You see, as we age, we naturally lose muscle mass. Doctors call it sarcopenia, and it happens faster than we think. But we can absolutely slow that down and even reverse it. The key is to integrate movement into your day with intention. It's not just about getting your steps in, it's about maintaining your ability to live independently. Think about it: being able to carry your grocery bags into the house, getting up from a low sofa without using your hands to push off, or playing on the floor with your grandkids without worrying about how you're going to get back up. That's what we're aiming for. So, what does purposeful movement look like? One of the most important things you can add to your routine is strength training, but don't let that term scare you. It doesn't mean you have to bench press 100 pounds. It can be as simple as doing chair squats, standing up and sitting down slowly without using your hands. It can be using light resistance bands while you're watching the evening news, or even doing calf raises while you're waiting for your morning coffee to brew. These small, consistent actions tell your muscles, hey, we still need you, and they respond by getting stronger. And here's the other half of that coin: balance. Nothing robs a person of their vibrancy faster than the fear of falling. When we're afraid of falling, we start to move less. We become more sedentary, which weakens our muscles further, which actually increases our risk of falling. It's a vicious cycle. But you can break that cycle. Simple balance exercises, like standing on one foot while you're brushing your teeth, holding onto the counter if you need to, can make a world of difference. It's about building that confidence back, step by step. Your body is incredibly capable, and when you move it with purpose, it rewards you with more energy, not less. Now, let's transition to something that goes hand in hand with keeping your body strong, and that is keeping your mind sharp. This brings us to our second tip, and it's one that I find really exciting. Doctors emphasize that one of the best things you can do for your brain after 65 is to become a lifelong learner, but with a very specific twist. It's not about doing the same crossword puzzle every day. Once you've mastered it, your brain isn't working as hard anymore. The magic happens when you do something that is novel and complex. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you always lift the same weight the same way, your muscles stop growing. Your brain is the same way. It craves novelty. So, what does that look like in real life? It might be learning to play a musical instrument you've always been curious about. It doesn't matter if you're not very good at first. The process of your brain learning to coordinate your fingers and read music is like a superfood for your neurons. Or maybe you've always wanted to learn a new language. There are fantastic, free apps that make this fun and easy, and you can do it for just 10 minutes a day. It's not about becoming fluent, it's about the mental workout. Even something like learning a new card game, like Bridge or Pinochle, or figuring out how to use a new piece of technology to video chat with your family, all of these things force your brain to create new neural pathways. It keeps your mind flexible, adaptable, and sharp. It's the difference between letting your brain settle into a comfortable rut and actively paving new roads for it to travel on. We've talked about moving our bodies and challenging our minds. Now, let's move to our third point, which is absolutely foundational to everything else: the fuel we put in. And specifically, I want to talk about a concept that doctors are talking about more and more, which is the incredible power of protein. For much of our lives, we're told to be careful with protein, especially red meat, and to focus on carbohydrates and vegetables. And while vegetables are still your best friend, as we get past 65, our bodies actually become less efficient at processing protein. This means you need to be more intentional about getting enough of it to preserve that muscle mass we talked about earlier. A common mistake people make is that their meals become very carb-heavy, especially breakfast and lunch. Maybe it's toast and jam for breakfast, or a bowl of soup with crackers for lunch. These meals might fill you up, but they don't give your muscles the building blocks they need. A doctor-approved shift is to try and protein pace your day. Instead of having a tiny bit of protein at breakfast and a huge steak at dinner, try to spread it out evenly. What does that look like? At breakfast, instead of just toast, maybe you have an egg or two, or some Greek yogurt which is packed with protein. For lunch, maybe you add a can of tuna or salmon to a salad, or have a sandwich with chicken or turkey. It doesn't have to be complicated. Even a handful of nuts or a glass of milk counts. This consistent supply of protein throughout the day gives your body the steady stream of resources it needs to repair itself, keep your immune system strong, and maintain the energy that lets you go out and enjoy life. It's such a simple shift, but it can make a profound difference in how strong and energetic you feel. So, we're moving our bodies with purpose, we're giving our brains a fun workout, and we're fueling ourselves with the right kind of energy. These are 3 powerful pillars, but we're just getting started. There are 3 more essential pieces to this thriving puzzle that we're going to dive into next. So we've laid down a fantastic foundation. We're thinking about how we move, not just to burn calories, but to build strength and confidence. We're challenging our brains with new, exciting activities. And we're being smart about fueling our bodies with the protein they need to keep our engines running strong. These are the kinds of habits that build a vibrant life from the inside out. Now, I want to talk about something that might surprise you. It's not about doing something, but rather, it's about being mindful of something we often take for granted. Our 4th tip is about the company we keep. And I'm not just talking about having a full social calendar. I'm talking about the quality of your connections and how they directly impact your physical health. Doctors will tell you that chronic loneliness isn't just an emotional state, it's a physiological stressor on the body. It can elevate cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone, and over time, that can contribute to inflammation, high blood pressure, and a weakened immune system. But the flip side of that is incredibly powerful. Having strong, positive social ties is one of the best predictors of a long and healthy life. Now, this doesn't mean you need to be the life of the party or have 100 friends. It's about having meaningful connections. It's about having at least 1 or 2 people you can really talk to, who make you feel seen and understood. Maybe it's a weekly phone call with an old friend who lives far away, a standing coffee date with a neighbor, or even a video call with your grandkids where you read them a story. These interactions signal to your body and brain that you are safe, that you are part of a tribe, and that you matter. And here's a beautiful thing, it's never too late to build new connections. If you've lost a spouse or moved to a new area, it can feel daunting to start over. But think about the things you enjoy. Do you love to read? A local library book club is a perfect place to meet like-minded people. Do you enjoy walking? There are walking groups specifically for seniors. Do you have a faith? Most places of worship have active senior groups. Even taking a class, like the painting or language class we talked about earlier, automatically puts you in a room with people who share a common interest. It gives you a built-in conversation starter. It's about putting yourself in the path of other people. It takes a little effort, but the payoff, a stronger heart, a sharper mind, and a warmer spirit, is absolutely worth it. So we're nurturing our bodies and our social circles. Now, let's talk about a vital part of our health that we often neglect, and that's our sleep. This is our 5th tip, and it's one that doctors wish more people would take seriously after 65. There's a common myth that as we get older, we need less sleep. That is simply not true. Your body and brain still need that 7 to 9 hours of quality rest to repair, consolidate memories, and clear out toxins. The issue is that it can become harder to get that deep, restorative sleep. Our sleep patterns naturally change, and things like medications, aches and pains, or needing to get up to use the bathroom can disrupt it. So, the doctor-approved tip here isn't just to sleep more, but to create an environment and a routine that invites good sleep in. Think about your bedroom. Is it a sanctuary for sleep? Is it cool, dark, and quiet? Often, we let the TV stay on, or we have bright digital clocks glaring at us. Those blue lights can trick our brains into thinking it's still daytime. Try to make your bedroom a screen-free zone for the last hour before bed. Instead of watching the news, which can sometimes be upsetting, maybe read a book, listen to some soft music, or do a few gentle stretches. And here's a big one that doctors often bring up: be mindful of when you eat and drink in the evening. Try to finish your last meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This gives your body time to digest, so it's not working hard on a full stomach while you're trying to rest. And while it's important to stay hydrated, try to cut back on fluids in the hour or two before bed to minimize those middle-of-the-night trips to the bathroom. A consistent routine is your best friend here. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time every day, yes, even on weekends, helps regulate your body's internal clock. It's like training your body to know when it's time to power down and when it's time to wake up feeling refreshed. When you get that good sleep, everything else gets easier. You have more energy to move, you are in a better mood to connect with others, and your mind is clearer to learn new things. It truly is the bedrock of thriving. We've been on quite a journey together, haven't we? We've talked about moving with purpose to keep our bodies strong and capable. We've talked about feeding our brains with new challenges to keep them sharp. We've made sure we're giving our muscles the protein they crave. We've recognized the healing power of genuine human connection. And we've learned how to create the perfect conditions for a night of deep, restorative sleep. Each of these pieces is like a pillar, supporting the roof of a vibrant, joyful life. But there's one more pillar, and it might just be the most important one of all. It's the one that holds all the others up. Our sixth and final doctor-approved tip for thriving after 65 is about your mindset. It's about the story you tell yourself about getting older. You see, we are surrounded by messages that tell us aging is a process of decline. We see it in movies, in advertisements, and sometimes we even hear it from our own friends who complain, "Oh, these old bones," or, "At my age, what do you expect?" But here's the fascinating thing that research is showing us: if you have a negative perception of aging, if you believe that getting older automatically means becoming senile, frail, and depressed, you are statistically more likely to experience those things. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the reverse is also true. People who have a positive view of aging, who see it as a time of wisdom, of freedom, of new opportunities, actually live longer and healthier lives. On average, studies show they live 7.5 years longer. 7.5 years. That's more than just a mindset, that's a medical intervention. So, what does this look like in practice? It starts with the language you use. Instead of saying, "I'm too old for that," try asking yourself, "What would I need to do to make that possible?" Instead of saying, "My memory is shot," try saying, "I'm going to give my brain a little extra time to retrieve that information." It's a small shift, but it moves you from a place of defeat to a place of possibility. This mindset also involves embracing change and finding purpose. One of the biggest challenges people face after 65, especially after retirement, is a loss of identity and purpose. For decades, you might have been defined by your job or by raising your children. When those roles shift, it can leave a void. The key to thriving is to actively fill that void with something that matters to you. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't mean you have to start a charity or climb a mountain. It can be as simple as tending to your rose garden and sharing cuttings with your neighbors. It can be volunteering to read to children at the local library, or becoming the family historian and organizing all those old photos. It can be mentoring a younger person in your field, or simply being the person who bakes cookies for the new family that just moved in. Having a reason to get out of bed in the morning, something that makes you feel needed and valuable, is a powerful driver of health. It gives you a sense of control and agency over your life. And that sense of control is crucial. When we feel like we're just passengers being carried along by time, we can feel helpless. But when we actively choose how we spend our days, when we decide to learn that instrument, to call that friend, to do those chair squats, we are taking the wheel. We are saying, I am the author of this chapter of my life. So, as we wrap up our time together today, I want you to take a deep breath and really let this sink in. The years after 65 are not a waiting room. They are a stage. They are your time. You have the wisdom of your experiences, and now you have the freedom to apply that wisdom to creating a life that feels good to you. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's not about doing all 6 of these things flawlessly every single day. It's about being kind to yourself and making small, consistent choices that honor your body and your spirit. Maybe today, you'll just stand on one foot while you're waiting for the kettle to boil. Maybe this week, you'll call an old friend you've been meaning to reach out to. Maybe you'll look in the mirror tonight and instead of criticizing a wrinkle, you'll smile at the evidence of a life fully lived. These small shifts, day by day, week by week, are what build a thriving life. You have so much to offer the world, and more importantly, you deserve to enjoy every single moment of this incredible journey. I would absolutely love to hear from you. What is one small thing you do to keep your spirits high and your body moving? Do you have a hobby that lights you up? A secret to a good night's sleep? Please, share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story might be just the inspiration someone else needs to hear today. And if this conversation felt like a warm cup of tea for your soul, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps others in our community find it, too. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell. We're building a wonderful community here, focused on living our best lives, at any age. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Be kind to yourself, stay curious, and here's to your health, your happiness, and to thriving. I'll see you in the next video.